one is, and this one will be in just a second. Good morning. I'd like to thank you all for joining us, whether in person or online. This year has been full of challenges, but one thing has remained steadfast, and that's our service from our veterans and our military who are currently serving. We're thankful for you, and it's an honor to have this program to celebrate you. Today's program is a combined performance from students from West Elementary, Lamar Middle School, and Lamar High School. I hope you enjoy it.
Would you please bow your heads with me? Dear God, I thank you for this wonderful day and for all the people that could be here or are watching. Lord, I just thank you for all those men and women that have served our country and given their time and their lives for us to have the freedoms that we have. Lord, I just ask that you watch over those that are still continuing to serve and just keep them safe. And Lord, I just thank you for your love, for your grace, and for sending your son down to pay the ultimate sacrifice for us. Amen.
Now students from Mrs. Catterley's class will be telling us the meaning of the pledge.
that we are in right now is leading us a good way so far. In the morning at school, when we say the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm always respectful because our lives would be different if the veterans hadn't gone into war for our country. I am always respectful for our country and our government that are always there to lead us right.
Today I have this wonderful opportunity to share with you what the Pledge of Allegiance means to me. One nation under God is special to me because some places you can't worship or acknowledge God. I am thankful that in this country we have the freedom to read the Bible and go to church. Thank you, veterans, for risking your life for our country. We really appreciate you.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Sorder. I have had the opportunity to be here today with Ms. Carter to talk about what is the most important part of the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'd like to start off by saying some things. Indivisible means something can't be broken apart. In the Pledge of Allegiance, it means the states are united under one government and will not be broken apart. This is really important because if our government was broken, then this whole United States would be horribly broken. Liberty means having freedom to act and speak and be free, having a great government to still be as it is. Liberty should always be a good thing to remember. With our freedom and independence, we should follow what these words mean. And I thank you to the veterans.
And justice for all. Justice means to be here. This part of the pledge means a lot to me because it will not be the same without justice because we all work hard to treat everybody fair. And thank you to the veterans who fought in the war for us. I want to say thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce our fifth grade choir. They're going to be coming forward. They're going to be singing The Grand Old Flag and America the Beautiful under the direction of Mr. Palmer.
endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Great job, fifth graders. Each year at the middle school, our students are challenged to enter a writing contest sponsored by the VFW. This year's theme was, "What is patriotism to me?" And our winner was Isabel Osborne, and she's going to come and read her paper.
Devotion, pride, love. These words define patriotism, but I want to go further. What is patriotism to me? That would have to be the brave men and women who have died before us so we could live free in this country. I, like many others, have family members that have served, and we should look up to them. They fought for the country that grants freedom. When we broke away from the British, it wasn't easy. We fought in the Revolutionary War, and we had to figure it out along the way, losing many lives. Luckily, we had people who stepped up. These people were called the Founding Fathers. They united the 13 colonies and built a frame of government for the United States of America. That is just the start of our country. Now I'm going to skip ahead a few years and point out the date, September 11th, 2001. Although this was a very sorrowful time, it was a very brave moment for America. Several firefighters, police officers, and first responders threw away the thought of their own lives and rushed into the towers to save others. This was one of the most brave acts I've ever heard about. This displays how much we all should fight for our country. I think patriotism also means to fight for what is right for the country. Sometimes I forget about the people out there raising money for our veterans and VA hospitals. Things like this are true patriotism, in my opinion. As Americans, we fight for what is right. As Americans, we stand together hand in hand with our brothers and sisters to ensure each thread of our American flag represents our freedom. The point I'm trying to make is patriotism isn't what's in the dictionary. It's what you decide to make of it. So, for me, patriotism is fighting for what is right for our country and the people in it, showing love for what we fight for. That is patriotism to me.
Thank you, Isabel. Appreciate that. Stand over here and we'll get a picture of you. We here in the VFW have this contest every year. We have different subjects to speak on. And Isabel won first place, and we have a check for her. If any of you young folks her age think about this, there's money involved which could help you with your education. And her essay will go on down to 7th District, and she has an opportunity to win there and get more. So I want to present you with this check and say thank you for telling us your version of patriotism. Thank you.
This is our middle school choir. They're composed of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. They're directed by Mrs. Strong. They're going to be singing "America, I Give My Thanks to You." This is our 8th grade band. They are led by Mrs. Payne and Mr. Devine. They will be playing America the Beautiful.
We will now be folding the flag. The flag folding ceremony represents the same religious principles on which our country was originally founded. The portion of the flag denoting the honor in the canton of blue containing the stars representing the states of our veterans served in uniform. The canton field of blue dresses from left to right and is inverted when draped as a pall on the casket of a veteran who has served our country in uniform. In the Armed Forces of the United States, at the ceremony of retreat, the flag is lowered, folded into triangle folds, and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out, and at the ceremony of reveille, run aloft as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks who gave a portion of life for the defense of our country to attain a peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace, as well in times of war, for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country is dealing with other countries. May she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is where our heart lies. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all of our enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered to the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day and honor the mother for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, for He too has given His sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold is the eyes of a Hebrew citizen, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold is the eyes of the American citizen, represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are utmost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces in the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today.
Good morning. I would like to introduce the Lamar High School Band. They will be performing the Armed Forces Salute, and I'd like to ask the veterans to please stand as their hymn is played.
also has a Voice of Democracy essay competition sponsored by the VFW, and this year's winner is Jacob Morrison. He will be reading his essay.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Words that were immortalized when the Declaration of Independence was published on July 4, 1776. America had just declared itself independent from the tyrannical monarchy that had oppressed them for years. They were finally free to build a safe haven of democracy and equality. However, the Founding Fathers knew that they would not live forever. They had to pass the mantle down to future generations and hope that their ideals lived on. So is this really the country that the Founders envisioned? To answer this question completely, let me tell you a story. Walt Disney was born in 1901 in Chicago and raised in Missouri. He had a rough life at the start. His father was abusive, and young Walter found solace in drawing. To escape his father, he joined the Red Cross and was sent to France to drive an ambulance during World War I. When he returned home, he started a cartoon business with his brother, Roy, that failed after a few years. With just $40 in his pocket, he set off to Los Angeles to try his hand at acting, where he again came face to face with failure. However, it was on this trip that he got the idea to start his own animation studio. He struck success with his character Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, but tragedy struck again when his producer cheated him out of the legal rights to the character. Walter decided that he would not give up, and on the train ride back home, he came up with one of the most recognizable cartoon characters in history, Mickey Mouse. Today, the Disney Company is one of the biggest media companies in the world and is worth nearly $130 billion. This is a prime example of why America has come to be known as the land of opportunity. The Founding Fathers wanted America to become, to quote Thomas Wolfe, a place where miracles not only happen, but where they happen all the time. The story of Walt Disney is just one of the many ways that this is the country the Founders envisioned, and even more. The United States lights the way to freedom, acting as a beacon of hope to people who dream of having freedom like ours. The Founding Fathers wanted a free land, but at the time we still had slavery and inequality in many aspects of life. Yet here we are, 224 years later, and everyone has equal rights under the Constitution. Slavery was abolished by the 13th Amendment, and the discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin is prohibited by the Civil Rights Act of 1964. These are giant leaps for the equality of all people, and even more than the Founding Fathers had envisioned, and I know that they would be proud of how far we have come. In addition to securing new rights for all citizens of this great nation, we have protected the rights that were originally given to us. Ratified in 1791, the United States Bill of Rights protects us from an oppressive government. If we look back at history, this legislation was introduced at a time when the American people feared the government. The former colonists had just escaped the British monarchy, which had abused its power over them for decades. The Bill of Rights is the single greatest limit on the power of government, protecting freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition, as well as many other freedoms. While I personally believe that this is the country the Founders envisioned, there are some ways that we fail to meet their expectations. Former President Abraham Lincoln famously said, "America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we have destroyed ourselves." If the Founders looked at America today, they would see some things that would sadden them. Rioting in the streets, racially charged murders, relentless attacks on our law enforcement officers, and people trying to tear our president down simply because they do not agree with him. We are supposed to be unified, working together to form a more perfect union. America is a tune that must be sung together in harmony, yet you can't hear anything over the shouting. Democrat against Republican, American against American, brother against brother. No one person or group is to blame for this, as we are all guilty. We need to remember that at the end of the day, we are all Americans, and the essence of America, what really unites us, is not ethnicity or nationality or religion. It is an idea that you can come from absolutely nothing and go on to do great things, an idea that is made possible through the freedoms we have. While the United States faces conflict daily, I do believe that this is the country the Founders envisioned. We are the pinnacle of equality and freedom, lighting the way for nations who want to be just like us. Concerning the new colony he was founding, John Winthrop stated, "We are a city upon a hill. The eyes of all people are upon us." These words have never been more true concerning the United States. As one of the major superpowers of the world, there are always people watching, waiting for us to take the lead. We need to work together to ensure that these people do not lose hope. We need to hold fast to our ideals of liberty and justice. Together, all Americans are united by a common bond, the simple fact that we are citizens of the greatest country in the world. To quote Founding Father Thomas Paine, "It is not in numbers but in unity that our great strength lies." We are one nation, under God, indivisible, and working together to provide liberty and justice for all. And when we work together, we can accomplish anything. If we look back at numerous stories from history, the times when we worked together were the times we won. In World War II, the entire country rallied after we were attacked by Japan. shouting, "Remember Pearl Harbor." The nation mobilized for war, everyone was unified, and freedom was preserved throughout the world. When our nation was attacked on 9/11, we stood together, not as Republican or Democrat, nor as black or white. We stood together as Americans, and when Americans all join together, we are unstoppable. So together we must rise up as one to defend our ideals and preserve freedom that the Founding Fathers fought for and envisioned. Thank you.
For you high schoolers, you could do something like Jacob has done, and we'll give him a stipend here for what he has done. And he goes to 7th District too, and he may win again. I hope he does. Thank you, Jacob.
Next, we have the Lamar High School Choir under the direction of Mrs. Anna Strong. They will be singing "God Bless America."
A tribute to America's living veterans and should be observed more as a celebration than a somber remembrance. It is always appropriate to include a moment of respect for those who gave their lives for their country. The signing of the World War I armistice took place in a railway coach near the battle zone in France. The bugles sounded ceasefire and hostilities ended. Remains a most significant moment in world history. Although 11 a.m. remains a traditional hour for this type of tribute, a moment of silence is appropriate any time in the program. Would you please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the playing of taps?
Veterans, once again, thank you for your service. This time included. Thank you for coming today, and for those of you at home or in class, thank you for watching.